The prosecutors have had enough and are prepared to simply sentence W.W. Melly to life in prison, ending the incredibly drawn-out court proceedings for W.W. Melly's case. Today's court day began with Melly arriving looking very irate and without a haircut, but the atmosphere soon changed when the judge started discussing his release from custody, and it was reported that W being in our prison for 2,159 days has left everyone in the courtroom, including the judge and Melly, shocked. So he has to make an educated choice regarding his attorneys. The ongoing legal case involving rapper YNW Melly has taken another
decision about who he wants as lawyers. He's now been sitting in our jail for 2,159 days. So, how long would you like to be able to make
turn, with delays in his retrial sparking significant controversy? Prosecutors are now focusing their attention on one of Melly's defense attorneys, which has thrown the entire case into uncertainty. This new development led to a strong reaction from the judge overseeing the case, who was shocked to learn that Melly has been sitting in jail for an astonishing 2,159 days without being convicted. In light of this, the judge gave the prosecutors a firm ultimatum: either provide a solid explanation as to why Melly shouldn't be released by tomorrow, or the court will grant him bond. One of Melly's defense lawyers, Raven Liberty, is reportedly under investigation for alleged witness tampering. While this has caused a stir, there is a great deal of confusion about whether the investigation is actually happening. Some speculate that prosecutors may be using these claims as a tactic to delay the trial, potentially keeping Melly in county jail even longer. However, there are still no concrete answers about whether official paperwork has been filed to support these allegations or justify the delays. To understand why this case has dragged on for so long, it's important to revisit its origins. On October 26, 2018, YNW Melly's close friends Anthony Williams, known as YNW Sockchaser, and Christopher Thomas Jr., known as YNW Juvie, were tragically killed. Prosecutors have accused Melly of orchestrating and carrying out their murders, claiming he staged the incident to look like a drive-by shooting. These allegations have fueled the ongoing court battles and kept Melly behind bars for nearly 6 years without a final resolution. What makes the situation even murkier is the involvement of Melly's former girlfriend, Mariah Hamilton. Hamilton may hold key information about what really happened on that fateful day. While much of the public and media are left speculating, it's clear that she could play a crucial role in revealing the truth about the case. Still, the details remain shrouded in secrecy, with neither side providing definitive evidence to settle the matter. This prolonged legal saga has drawn attention not just because of Melly's fame, but also due to the questions it raises about the justice system. Critics argue that keeping someone incarcerated for over 2,000 days without a conviction is deeply troubling and raises concerns about fairness and due process. Others question whether the new allegations against Raven Liberty are legitimate or simply a strategic move by the prosecution to buy more time and build a stronger case. As of now, the fate of YNW Melly remains uncertain. The judge's recent ultimatum has put immense pressure on prosecutors to justify their actions and provide
people, and then this person's calling this person and then that person.
Like to me, they're going through extreme measures, try to cover up or convince people not to testify.
Clarity about the delays. Whether Melly will finally be granted bond or continue to wait in jail as his retrial unfolds is a question that many are anxiously waiting to see answered. Meanwhile, the families of Sockchaser and Juvie continue to seek justice, hoping for closure to the tragedy that has left a permanent mark on their lives. This case remains one of the most complex and emotionally charged legal battles in recent years, with no clear resolution in sight. The FBI discovered suspicious activities related to YW Melly, compelling her to not testify in the trial after looking into Mariah's iCloud. This is known as witness tampering, and it carries a life term in jail regardless of whether Melly really accepted a job. In Juvia, the chaser. The Fed started looking into Mariah after people in Melly's hometown started talking a lot about the situation with Sockchaser and Juvie, with everyone speculating that Mariah was involved in the crime that led to WW. There is a chance that Melly's attorneys will win the case of Sockchaser and Juvie's death, but if Melly is found guilty of witness tampering, he will still be in prison for life. After Melly left the site of the incident, WWJV's father conducted his own investigation. He spoke with individuals from all throughout.
Just saying how he's been hurt, how he's scared for his life. As a mother, how did that make you feel?
It's heartbreaking. It made me feel completely
At the town and discovered that Melly was using code words to Mariah in order to get her to attend Melly's first trial. And then this person calls this person, and then that person says they're going to extreme measures to try to cover up and convince people not to testify like Mariah mom. They used icy language like Rihanna and said, if found guilty, WW Melly will be sentenced to life in prison just for witness tampering charges alone. With this information being made public in court files, it clarifies why Melly has been treated so poorly in a jail, as an interview with Melly's mother claimed that Melly has not been permitted to use a phone or even check his own mail while incarcerated. Unlawful they hold his mail and don't give it to him. But if it's true that YW Melly was using the jail phone to commit witness tampering.
Yeah, I'm so happy he in jail getting mistreated, homie. Homie, when you take a life,
then they wouldn't be preventing him from using it anymore. My son hasn't been convicted of anything, and even other prisoners who have been convicted of anything have the right to use a telephone. They also have the right to simply be allowed to write letters to their loved ones and receive their mail. Possess concrete proof to back up their allegations, which is why it's so alarming that Melly might be sentenced to life in prison for witness tampering alone. Jamie King would then disclose that she is heartbroken for her son and feels powerless because he isn't even being treated like a human inside of jail. When you saw Melly's statement stating how he's been hurt and how he's afraid for his life as a mother, how did that make you feel? It's heartbreaking. It made me feel completely powerless. We tried to take this matter to court, but the judge really has no jurisdiction over the jail because we actually had a hearing about the mistreatment of him. The jail kind of makes their own rules, which I don't think is fair because I know they have to answer to someone too, but this received a lot of media attention, especially from people in the district. Brower Shah's office definitely needs to be investigated. Charleston White, a member of the industry, responded by saying that this is how YW Melly ought to live and that he shouldn't be given preferential treatment just because he is a well-known rapper. He is accused of committing one of the most heinous crimes that someone can do, the YMWM. Yes, it makes me very glad that he is being abused while incarcerated. When you take a life, you have no right to complain about being abused as a mother when you've already decided to participate. Indeed, she was real, and I reached out to him because I am real. I met his mother, and she is a good woman. Melly's attorneys knew that he needed to take some action to prevent his child from being granted a bond, so they would present this evidence from the part where I said that someone had just pulled up and was attempting to shoot them would have been in the original trial of Melly texting his ex-girlfriend in real time while the crime was happening, and that he was hiding into a bush. I asked him if he was okay and where he was, and he replied that there was a car coming behind him, like hiding. He said, yeah, there's some, I think they're still out here or something. So I asked, are you okay? He said, I'm fine. And I asked, where are Sak and Joey? He replied, I don't know if they're in the car. I believe they're saying that Mariah Hamilton's only involvement was attempting to save the life of her then boyfriend, but in the YW Melly trial, prosecutors acknowledged that no firearm was ever found to support the claims that it was a drive-by because the person with the firearm was miles away just minutes later. So, to start, I didn't have a so. Unfortunately, this wouldn't be nearly enough to have Melly released from jail because I can't decide which I'm going to use to replicate any of my tests. To put it another way, the prosecutor's next revelation probably sealed the deal on YW Melly's freedom. They discovered that Melly was very close to King Vav prior to his arrest and before his death, as a rogue Gold Block member revealed a secret that Melly told King Vav. Melly asked Fee for advice on how to deal with a situation where your two best friends, Sak, Jaser, and Juvie, are pursuing you for money. Did V really tell you that Melly told him that he didn't come out and say, we got into an argument? Because you know that people can say things without actually saying them? He told me that after I posted what I posted, Van was upset with me, so he asked, why did you put there, bro? And then, I'm like, you sit up here, you know? YW is a registered business LLC where YW, Melly, and Borland performed concerts, sold merchandise, did promotions, and things of that sort for companies in exchange for money that would be funneled through the YW business bank account, and then paid out to the 4 YNW members 25% each, split evenly 4 ways. The love we have you do this for us, but you're going to trust that his 2 friends are trying to extort him. So, I'm like, if they were trying to extort him, why are you still around them? I like how Sack, if you know anything about King Von's past and how he handled his own situations, you can probably guess the advice that V would have given YW Melly to handle it. This was the missing piece of evidence that the prosecutors were missing in the original trial, which is what the motivation was. But when you combine it with evidence discovered on Mel's phone, you can see that Chaser and Juvie were doing nothing but receiving the same amount of money simply because they were in YNW. When he admitted to the crime, the PZ Gambino account texted him hours later to ask if he was okay. He replied, "I did that," and placed a smiley face emoji, okay, and the next message from 10/26/2018 at 16:02 from U Eastern Standard Time, the YW Melly count, said, "What after that?" Additionally, a saved video from someone's Facebook Live was discovered on Melly's phone, showing Melly and Borland's reaction to the crime just 6 hours after it was committed. In an adjacent parking lot, a music video is being recorded. Regardless of what transpired this morning, Melly is still out CH being very positive, but do turn regardless of what happened. As you are already aware, Melly's attorneys asserted that Melly and Borland had a contract to record a music video on that particular date, and at that time, there was no way to back out of it because the 2 of them had signed the contract, so they had to put on a brave front and go out there and do it. Business. But many people thought it was strange that they didn't appear to be at all upset after learning how Melly handled it emotionally. The lead prosecutor then dug deeply into the physical evidence of the crime, including the Jeep they were driving in. During the initial trial, Sergeant Williams disclosed that there was no way this could have been a drive-by because of the number of rounds in the vehicle, 3 from the pass, the driver's side back seat, and Christopher Thomas. I concluded that it's not a drive-by, and it's based on this picture with a stationary position when all but one of these rounds are going on. The one round that has some movement in it is round a sight L here. The actually moving in that YW Juvie's mother went to the stand and revealed who was sitting in the back left seat that he claims had to have committed the crime from. JY, I'm Leon. Alright, so are you related to anyone in this case? I am. And how is his mother? Who is Christopher Thomas? Miss Phillips? Did you see who got into the car? If so, do you know where your son got into that gray Jeep? If so, which seat did he get in? If so, could you identify him for the jury? He got in the back seat on the right side. Did you recognize the person who got into the back seat on the left side, the rear driver's side? If so, who is that person?